Astrea, Impact, Stretch. African TV Playground Studio Live 2020 GSL Season 2 Code S The Coming Storm.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go into our second best of three, but first, I got to say, that was a really exciting game that we saw with Astrea. Even though Dark won, he won 2-0, Dark was the better player. Astrea is showing a really deep understanding of that matchup.
Yes.
And he looks like he definitely has a shot of getting out of this group today. Definitely.
Dude, that was so much fun. What a fantastic game he put out there. I'm really looking forward to seeing him play again in that loser match. But first, we have Impact going up against Stats. We have one of the cheesiest, most aggressive Zerg players that we have in StarCraft 2 professional scene going up against the ultimate defensive Protoss. This seems stylistically to favor Stats so heavily that I'm not really sure how Impact is supposed to... Like, I feel like he has to try to play a more mid-game, macro game, end-game type scenario.
I think you're probably right. I don't know if he's going to do it, though.
Yeah, his
you know what I'm
rush,
saying?
Rushes even became worse with the new overcharge, you know? So, like, how are you going to... And this is the guy that's meant to stop that.
Yeah. The Stats, you know, there's always a lot of different styles you can have with Protoss in every matchup. But Stats is one of the players that historically has really succeeded in conservative play.
Yeah.
He's the guy who expands. He just wants to see what you're doing first, and he's going to stop it. And then he's going to have better upgrades, a better army, and push out and win. Very different from, like, let's take Party, for instance, who's very aggressive, who likes to do a lot of crazy plays. Stats at Reign as well for a period of time before he switched back to StarCraft 1. These are the guys that were succeeding. Now, there was a period where it seemed like Protoss couldn't play like that against Zerg, and so Stats wasn't doing that well. But I think we're seeing a shift in the meta here, and I'm really curious to see what Stats is going to do.
All right, Death Aura going to be our first map, followed by Pillars of Gold and then Golden Wall. All right. I'm excited.
All right, guys. Game 1, Impact versus Stats starts now.
경기가 준비되었다. 한번 시작해볼까? 팀 LP 임팩트 김준혁. 아프리카 프렉스 스태츠 김대영.
Okay, Artie.
Yo.
Excuse me. I hope we can have a series as good as the last one. It's going to be hard to top that last one.
Oh, yeah.
What an exciting time for PvZ, though. Seeing that style of play. For a while, it was just Protoss just trying to end the game immediately.
Yeah, it's been that way for a really long time, which is, I think, part of the reason why Stats has had a hard time. But there's been a lot of Zerg nerfs coming up. There's been, you know, a lot of changes made all over the place, and some little buffs for Protoss as well. So, I don't know. Like, are we going to be able to see Stats play some nice, strong macro games like we just saw Astrea? I would love to see that. You know, I want the matchup to have that big range of diversity.
Yeah. Well, you want that, right? You want to have games that can be quick and crazy and exciting, and then games that can also be really long and drawn out and epic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fun to see, you know, all the rest of our games here today. Again, though, Dark definitely looking still like he's maybe the best player in the world.
Yeah. I mean, he's Dark. He is the best player in the world. We have to say that until Katowice next year.
Right. World champion.
Yeah, until we get a new one. He's going to be the longest reigning world champion ever, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true, yeah.
Because it goes from BlizzCon 2019 to Katowice 2021.
Yeah.
So that's quite a reign.
Yeah, he gets the
title.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically SOS has had the longest reign because he's had 2 full years of being the world champion.
Oh,
But they weren't back-to-back.
that's true. That is
It's
true.
crazy to think that that guy's a 2-time world champ. That's awesome. Dude, I love these acceleration zones. You know, I keep
Wobulus.
lobbying for it, man. I need to see like gold bases under the slow things. Now I want to see a gold base with the fast thing on it. Imagine that.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine the money that comes in off that?
Oh my God. Would they mine faster, or would they just?
Well, they
move
wouldn't mine
faster?
faster. They would just move back faster.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I wonder if that would actually...
Imagine if you
that
could
would
build-
actually barely improve anything now that I think about it. The speed up?
I guess the weird thing about it is that it might actually interrupt workers, because you know you can have 2 workers on a mid roll and they kind of swap.
Yeah.
But then if you speed them up, does that actually just screw it up?
Well, they'll just get back and forth quicker. There is a little bit of leeway in there between the travel time. A couple drones going down to the depth pressure. Doesn't seem like he'll get any more. Yeah, it goes down. But the slowdown would be cool, though, still on the gold mineral patches. All right, gets a couple drones with the first Oracle, backs up. See if he takes the 3rd Nexus pretty soon here. He's throwing down his Robo.
All right, so here comes that Oracle out now. So far, this is looking a lot like our older stats games we saw.
Yeah.
I'm actually expecting him to still play like his old self, too. It just seems like... It's funny how people do this. We've talked about this before, about how StarCraft really is a game you can express yourself in.
Yes.
With how you play. I mean, you really do see completely different play styles, and at times they succeed over others. But yeah, Stats is one of these guys, he just likes to defend.
Yeah.
He approaches the game in such a way where, okay, you're going to come at me first, and I'm going to judo flip the game into my favor.
Yeah. Well, right now he's flying around harassing, getting ready. Yeah, there's that 3rd base going up. Now, I don't think he knows about it, obviously, but we see +1 melee on the way. And a lot of times when you see that, it's kind of a more aggressive type of play. If he keeps his oracles alive, that helps out immensely. Yeah. You know, if you're trying to break something with lings, those oracles are going to do a lot of work. So some more drones, that layer on the way, Ro.24 as well. I feel like we're going to see like a Ling Roach Ravager type of attack coming out of Impact. Wonder how that's gonna look.
Yeah, here we have Stats just continuing to grow out and expand. We've got more gateways coming down here. With the Warp Prism coming, that could signal that we're going to finally have some kind of harassment. I don't think it's going to be a push yet. I think we still have plenty of time before that comes in here. Maybe we end up with like Archon drops or something. We have the Templar Archives coming here as well.
Yeah, I think it'll probably be like very light harassment. I saw a couple of depths were left over. That's generally the best thing you can put in an early Prism like this, right? If you didn't go for Archons quickly. The couple of depths, you can do some tricky stuff with the shading potential, pick them up somewhere else, you know. All right, so as +1 is finishing up, Baneling Nest comes down, Spire going up, and a bunch of Lings being made. Now this little army, if that were to get surrounded or anything, I think that would be a really terrible thing for Stats.
What if they warped in faster in that too?
That would be amazing.
All right, so we have the push coming out here.
Imagine if things built faster in that.
We have some Lings, looks like, set up for a counterattack. Now, this is a very tiny army here. It looks like it's mostly here to try to take out anything on creep. Oh, wow, 2
I
hallucinated
love the
Phoenixes.
instantaneous Guardian Shield against just melee units.
It's funny how often that actually happens, where the player just reflexively triggers that.
Just continue to warp in, keeping that pressure on. It's interesting where he's standing, too, there.
Okay, now we have a push through the bottom here. Takes out the creep tumor. Right now we see Impact just trying to make sure he has enough to fend off this push here. But again, Stats just being like we always see with Stats, very conservative, not overextending. And here comes a counterattack. This is also going to be paired with a drop as well, which is headed towards the main.
Wow, that overcharge saves him. Very, excuse me, very nicely done by Stats.
And Stats defends the drop over here from Impact. 5 mutas coming out and some more Banelings here. So it looks like we're going to have Ling Muta Bane.
Yeah, very interesting unit composition coming out of Impact.
If you get the right connections with Ling Muta Bane, the Protoss just dies.
Don't forget, he's rushing up to +2 melee, and he already has Overlord drops. So that's when you can actually start one-hitting probes. You drop one Baneling off in a mineral line, you can get 10 kills off that thing.
Yeah. So with the 1 muta out, obviously you never really just make 1 muta. So
it's a very rare thing.
It's a very rare thing.
Muta.
Just have 1 muta. So he's going to see that and say, okay, this is, there's going to be a lot more mutas coming up here. We have Phoenixes that are being made, but it's still a ways off. I know Phoenixes counter mutas, but you need to have a certain number of them.
Yeah.
So where they can actually do anything.
And he's not overdoing it though. He's like getting his blink upgrade, and he's only going 1 Stargate Phoenix.
Nice force field there. Completely shuts down.
Yeah, that was a great
the
force
Banelings
field.
coming in.
+2 melee is going to be finishing up here, and I mean, you see 4 Banelings being morphed right near that drop overlord. So this is where Stats has to be hyper vigilant. You can lose a mineral line just in seconds.
Okay. We had that drop ready here. I think he might want to save this for when an actual attack happens. I think if Impact just sends that in now, a player like Stats is just going to see it and stop it. Oh my god!
Oh, good catch.
Yeah, this is really good. And now he can actually pick up each of these Banelings. And, yeah, he takes that out of his sleeve. I was going to say if that
it
one
only
gets
takes
through.
one, tasteless.
Yeah, it only does take one.
All right, some Corruptors actually coming out, I guess, to help deal with those Phoenixes.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really have that many mutas anyways. More Lings and Banes on the way. Not sure what his plan is here. Stats is going up to 4 bases. Feels like a good situation for Stats overall. Like, I don't feel like Impact has done anything particularly poorly this game. He's playing kind of an off strategy, sure.
He's definitely had some good ideas, but none of them paid off. I don't think he's like insanely behind because of that, but...
Yeah, it doesn't feel like he's insanely behind, but Stats has basically defended everything he needs to defend, and nothing's really gone wrong for him. And we never think of Impact really as a later player, a later game player, rather.
Right. Oh, we got more Banes coming through here. Oh, damn, Stats.
Oh, still gets a probe. All right, well, it does get in here. Well, he overcharges the battery, but doesn't really do too much right there.
It seems like Stats is just barely going to hold everything here.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Meanwhile, over here in the south, we have a push coming through. Oh my gosh, there's another attack over here. I actually missed this. Great observing today, by the way. Okay. It seems like Stats is actually backing up. I thought he might try to come in there and squish that bottom base, but there's a lot going on right now, I think.
I think he does want to squish it, but not as bad as he wants to keep his army alive. All right, just micro a little bit with these Stalkers. I kind of like this move. Poking, and he can always run back to his main army up that hill, and that will never be broken. All right, goes up the ramp. Oh, you do not want to go follow him there.
Okay, more Links coming through here again. Stats with just absolute solid defense. Nothing is getting by this guy. And you can see Impact is just barely on the verge of dying to a push if Stats actually gets in there and starts taking the fight. We have 3 more Archons. I believe that's probably going to be the number where we actually see this army come down here and attack. Now, we want to watch the Banelings very carefully. When these big fights happen, it's really all going to come down to the Banelings connecting.
Well, it seems like he's mostly counterattacking here, right?
Yeah, but I think it's going to have to stop eventually, right?
This ball army that Stats is making there's no way that his army can deal with this. Look at how many Archons are being made. I love it, because Mass Archon is a great counter to this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at how funny that looks going through there.
Oh my gosh.
Sick force fields.
Okay, we have the Archons pushing down here. A lot of Lings are coming through. Great side storm there, although it's also hitting all of his Phoenixes, but I think we're so close to Stats just ending this. By the way, oh, great job there. Well, look at these multi-pronged attacks we're having here. Beautifully
He's just
done.
cleaning up everything
He's
now.
everywhere right now.
I don't know that he can actually kill all this. Like, he has a lot of units coming over to that main army, but this side army is stronger than what Impact has as well.
GG, Stats does it.
All right, a cool style out of Impact, but Stats just kind of absorbs everything he does there.
Yeah. Beautifully done. Just brilliant. I mean, I love seeing this late game PvZ here. Protoss is pushing out. They've got their armies split up. They're forcing the Zergs to defend in all these different spots. Stats is shutting down every counterattack. Every counterattack, Artosis.
Yeah, he really did. And that can be very tough. You know, there's drops, there's mutas out, there's banelings rolling around absolutely everywhere. But great defense there from Stats. And that's just what he needed to do. I think that it can be problematic as Impact because while he's a very strong player, he has a very specific style that he likes. He wants to be aggressive.
Right.
Like that game we just saw from Dark, we never really see Impact play like that. You know?
Yeah, that's true. Well, he's trying something different this time around here. We're going to be on Pillars of Gold for game number 2. Both of our players have now joined the lobby. The winner of this best of 3 will go on to face off against Dark in the winner's match. And whoever comes out on top there will be the 3rd player to advance to the round of 16 of the GSL Codex.
경기가 준비되었다. 한번 시작해볼까? 팀 LP 임팩트 김준혁. 아프리카 프렉스 스태츠 김대영.
I was actually wondering, did Impact play with a mask on?
He did in game
And
1,
that-
then he took it off.
I don't know how anybody could play with a mask. He has glasses. If you got glasses on, then your glasses fog up.
Maybe he only breathes through the bottom of his mouth, like he, you know,
Maybe.
there's a straw in there to make all his breath go down.
Okay.
Right.
One little straw sticking out the
Breathing
bottom
through
of
a
his chin.
straw, passes out mid-game. Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
Okay.
all right. So
This is
full
pretty cool.
first, offensive hatchery.
Yeah.
The thing is, like,
Offensive
stats-
pylon.
Yeah. Like, what are you like going full all in with this? Right.
You know what's
Like,
I wonder how much of this was a plan just before he came to the studio today, or how much of this is just because of how badly game 1 went, he decided he needs to do something pretty crazy here in game 2.
yeah, it's hard to gauge exactly.
Oh my
but-
God.
Oh, he's blocking every hatchery location.
Sometimes we get games like this.
Yeah.
If you follow the drone enough, they'll never get their hatchery at the expansion they want to take. Is he going to take this one over here?
Well, eventually there has to be a point of no returns
Abs-
for blocking hatches, right? Like, you can't chase him all the way to your 3rd and then put a pylon there, too. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's all right. You want to have a pylon on every possible expansion, Artosis.
Block your own 3rd.
Okay, so we are already way off of whatever a normal game would look like. This is going to be a different. We'll probably end up in the same spot eventually, but right now it's like this is already a weird game. Both players were building on top of each other's spots to, you know, throw the build off.
This first adept is pushing back the lings for now. Might actually get a little bit done.
Yeah, is he going to get a drone
Ooh,
kill here?
yeah,
All right, there we
there
go.
it is.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Oh! You kidding me? Damn, man.
What you guys don't see is that we have electrodes hooked up to Artosis, and every time a drone dies, he gets shocked.
Well, from
Oh!
the first adept after denying those 2 hatches, and Yeah, man, 3 drones? Yeah. I got a little electric shock each time there. My toes curled on that 3rd drone.
Okay, so we have the 2 adepts shading forward here.
Hold my hand, Tasis.
Oh.
This is gonna be bad. Oh my God. This is why you don't screw with stats. Look at this, 4 more drones. 100% worth.
Yeah, I'm really surprised because these attacks are pretty straightforward, right? Like we see the adepts coming in there, but he's getting way more kills than you would expect. We have Glaives being upgraded here. Maybe we'll have a little bit of early game aggression here from stats.
I think he should keep the pressure on. I think it's a good
agree.
choice.
Well, I think the amount of wins he's taking, it's like, all right, well, let's just keep the
7
ball
drones
rolling
that early. And don't forget his hatcheries are late.
Yeah.
Because they were all blocked and he did an offensive hatchery himself. Like, yeah, go put some pressure on with the adepts. Force him to make more units. Look how low his drone count is, 30 drones. His supply is 41 of 30, 37 there for a moment. Like, he lost an Overlord as well. Everything's going wrong for him. I'm not envious of Impact's position, Tasis. If you were to ask me, Artosis, would you love to be playing against stats from Impact's position? I tell you, Tasis, no, I really wouldn't love that, actually.
Is that paradise for you?
Yeah. Is that just where you're your best self, Artosis?
Yeah.
No, Tasis,
Are you
it's
living
not.
your best life if you're playing against this as Impact?
Yeah. No, I'm not, because you know what, Tasis? I was always going to lose to stats, but especially right now.
All right, well, Glaives is done. The War Prism's here as well.
He's got 8 lings.
Yeah. Same number of lings as there are adepts here. More adepts to come. Great micro, though, by Impact.
Yeah, nice.
Pulls away that 1 injured queen.
The adepts can almost just straight up fight everything at this point.
Yeah, the adepts, I think, are actually just stronger in this position here. Once these queens start to get low, there's nothing to stop these adepts here. Oh, barely saves that great transfuse. But again, with each adept wave, there's just more firepower here. The queens, a lot of times, are the only line of defense before the adepts just get completely out of control.
Yeah, the ling's just being eradicated, and he goes up into main base. This is going to be very bad for Impact. The lings can't hold him. The drones certainly cannot.
Okay, the drones are getting pulled away here. This is at the point where it could start to really spiral out of control. We see the Zerg. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say that basically we're getting to the point where there's no way the Zerg can take control of the game at all.
No.
Right? There's enough drones killed. The queens are already injured enough that they don't allow. Basically, when you see those queens go down, that's when the barrier has been broken. The adepts just spill in and do too much damage.
Well, the fact that he got 7 drones off the bat, like, Impact was already so behind. Stats had a perfect follow-up for that. The situation was dire indeed.
I am so excited to see this next game. We're going to have Dark versus Stats. Both these players looking very good.
Well, I feel like we saw more of what Dark can do than what Stats can do, because those games were kind of like, he put out a couple fires in the first game, and the second game he just punished.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like we've even seen Stats' full form here.
We're going to go to a short break. We come back. The winner's match. GSL Codex.